Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. The time has finally come for me to hear Ozzy Osbourne. You all keep talking about him like, I should know exactly who that is. I should have some sort of sound imprint. He's a staple in rock and roll. And when you say his name, I should know exactly what you're saying. And I just don't, and I feel ignorant. So that is going to change today, starting with Crazy Train. Let's get to it. That's a really awesome last line, by the way. Maybe it's not too late to learn how to love and forget how to hate. I like that line. His voice has so much punch in it. It's very direct, a little grating at times. I think it's interesting that they've essentially doubled him in the production of when the verse, I think, came in. That first, the first sound of his voice, I was like, oh my gosh, he does sound like a madman. And Memoirs of a Madman is here. We've chosen to do the album version today, by the way, because I really want to also hear Randy Rhoads. And I understand Randy died fairly early and tragically in an airplane crash and couldn't find a live recording with Randy Rhoads playing in it. So decided to do the album version so I could hear Randy too. We're going to go back to the beginning. There were so many cool moments. I feel like this, it goes by really fast. Lots of really cool things. Okay, first thing, that scream and then the way it starts to pan out in the headphones is so cool. Like this is really, really fun to experience within a set of headphones because the way that the voice starts echoing around me makes me feel like I'm going mad as well. Back to the beginning. Whoa. And then that's so cool too. I'm gonna go back to the beginning one more time because it keeps going boop, boop with the I. And it's essentially panning from one side to the other side. So it makes it feel like it's bouncing almost like an echo off of both sides. It's so cool. I love the immediate great production on this. Even the, I forget what that instrument's called, but even that was panning. That is a really cool pattern. And then it's major. So up until this point, we've been hanging out in a minor key. And then I think we went to a major key right there. That shift is totally unexpected. It felt very dangerous, and then it feels like, yeah, we're on just like a nice train ride, right? Like there's probably a lovely car that has food and drinks where you can sit and chat with people. But the first part sounded like the train was like maybe going too fast and gonna go off the rails. And this is where his voice is doubled, by the way. his vocalization to me sounds pretty pressed in here, right? But he obviously was able to continue to make that sound in a fairly healthy way. So I would hear this and I would say, oh, it's probably got a little too much tightness in a voice lesson. But on the other hand, I think that time really tells if a person is able to sustain something or not. Some people can sustain things better than others. And vocal mechanisms are different on everybody. All of us have different genetics and a different makeup here. So we've got a lot of different factors that can contribute to the sound of a voice. And it sounds pressed in here, but when he ends up adding harmonies in or doubling the voice, there's a lovely, like a little more bell-like sound that comes in there. And it makes the sound overall feel a little bit deeper. And I think that that's very, very smart production on their end. When he has those harmonies, right, it feels more fluid overall. It's very, very interesting. Go back just a little bit. Happy part. Like this would be a really great song to do at karaoke. It's just, it doesn't have a huge range on it currently, but it has really powerful entrances, really, really great lyrics. And he's very specific about his pitch, especially when he's doing some, they're not really fast runs at the end, but there are some runs where he's essentially holding out a word and then it follows different pitches. And he's very precise about that. So this would be actually a really good song to sing along with. It's very, very interesting. I feel like this is a very distinct sound, and I'm starting to understand now why people would reference it a lot more. It's also really fun to hear him use diphthongs every now and then in these runs. Diphthong is a sound where you combine two vowels into one, essentially. So O is a diphthong that has O and U in it. O. You have two different pure vowels that are squished into one. So roll is the last word he said here. And he sings roll, roll. And you can hear him go through those two vowels as he's defining different notes of that run. Let's listen to it one more time. It's really clear, right? Using diphthongs like that to accent different notes in a run has become more and more common. It's never something you hear in classical music. In classical music, you would maintain the first vowel in a run and then only let the second one in at the last moment. But I hear it a lot more in contemporary singing as a way to define different notes. Whoa, that was such a cool guitar intercession in the middle. Ooh, the tune and it's fast. It sounds like some sort of like weird extended violin technique. Ugh. Wow. Wow, that gives me weird feels. It's not quite horror. A lot of times we get that kind of detuning and pitches that are not strictly on a particular pitch, but are like between different pitches like that, or sliding. We associate that with horror music. It's not quite horror. It's got a really clear pattern as it's going up. But it feels disturbing within this overall atmosphere of like, yeah, we're having fun on the concession train, right? Oh. Whoa. Like that distortion too.
I know that things are going wrong for me. You gotta listen to my words.
I want to go back here a little bit. He's bringing so much there's nasality and focus into the sound when he goes down low. He really adds like some extra teeth or snarl into it. It's, oh man, what a distinct sound. Yeah, I can understand very clearly why this is a cornerstone of references in rock and roll voices.
I know that things are going wrong for me.
Normally people, as they go down lower, they don't bring the sound forward like that. That's something you definitely have to do on purpose. Usually when you go lower, it feels like it will drop back a little bit. And it says like, it really bring it crazy forward. That's intense sound placement right there.
I know that things are going wrong for me. You gotta listen to my words.
Oh! That was brilliant. That was totally brilliant. I'm shocked. The various bending in there is it's unusual. I wouldn't have expected it. It doesn't necessarily feel like this band is so progressive that you'd have tons of weird things that you'd pull in and then create something new out of. But the way that this guitar solo was put in and weaved in, it feels like it's so right at the same time and so unusual. Oh man, this makes me think, I always think about like Guitar Hero or video games, and there's something also about the particular guitar sound that makes me feel very video gamey. It makes me wonder though, could you even play this? Because it has so much bending in it. To be that precise would be extremely, extremely difficult. Oh, back. Oh. It almost sounds like bees. I think it is really wonderful how he just inserts a little bit of that bendy, almost dizzying effect as he's essentially bouncing between a couple different notes, but, sliding them down or sliding them up and bouncing the whole time. But he only inserts it for a little bit. So it kind of gives us time to recover between the next time when it comes up. And then he goes back to totally clean, just as if to say, yeah, no, I totally did that on purpose. Yeah, you're uncomfortable. Just wait for it. Get more comfortable. Oh, I'm going to make you uncomfortable again. It's really brilliant.
You gotta listen to my words.
Epic. This is such a good hook, this line. And so that line, it's a really good hook, and they're repeating it over and over, so it becomes more and more sticky, right? I can still hear it playing in my head. And then I like the way that they've normalized going to the major key at this point. When you hear things repeated enough, they start to feel a lot more normal to you. So at the beginning, when I thought, whoa, this is such a major key shift right there that happened, at this point, I'm like, yeah, no, I was expecting that. It would resolve into this. It would feel good. And then it's amazing how quickly our brains can become used to something like that. So having lots of repetitions in a piece like this, it makes the hook part more hooky, and then it makes us feel really good about hearing that change in key. Oh, I should say change in tonality more than anything. Interesting that he cut off so quickly at that note. I would have thought for a note that was going up and was kind of like a climactic moment that he would draw it out a lot more. And instead he cut off very quickly to draw, I think, more attention to the instruments. Those detuned moments are just so shocking and really, really cool. I think it's really important to note one of the major things that I hear in Ozzy's voice, which is a total lack of vibrato. He is holding onto that instrument tight. Vibrato is often a sign of balance within an instrument, and it often will come in fairly naturally. His instrument, I mentioned earlier, it sounds a little pressed. It's tight. It feels like he's really holding on to it very closely. Definitely not allowing, I'm guessing would not want to have any vibrato in his sound. It makes that sound, again, it cuts like crazy, has a certain piercingness to it. And it's definitely a stylistic decision that anybody can make. Some people like vibrato more than others. Not everybody has to have vibrato, but it's one of the things that I feel is defining about his voice. That part. Wow. Oh, it sounds like a train horn at the end. Whoa, whoa. I want to hear some of those sounds again at the end. almost sounds like he had helium in his voice there. Whoa. I feel enlightened. I finally understand what this reference of Ozzy Osbourne is. And it's a very strong sound reference. I get why so many people would use it. It is such a distinctive sound and so many things about it that make it distinctive. So I'm really glad I have that now. And I really enjoyed the guitar in this song as well. It was fascinating composition and performance. Fantastic, fantastic guitar solo there in the middle. I think it's incredible to think that Ozzy and Dio sang in Black Sabbath, both of them. That would have been just so extremely different, crazy different performances. So if you guys want to see some analysis of Dio in lots of different bands, you can check out this playlist over here. I adore his voice. I think it's really fun to think about how would Ozzy have sang this song like Dio did. I don't know. I hope to see you over there soon.